Welcome back, welcome back. We turn now to sporting greatness, and my next guest is often described as the greatest Olympian ever. He's Steve Redgrave, former British rower, and the only person in the modern era ever to win a gold medal in 5 consecutive Olympics Games. Since winning that 5th gold at Sydney in 2000, Steve has turned his back on the water, preferring instead to work for charity, for his own businesses, and to write books, one of which, here in my hand, is called Inspired, his latest work just out, Inspired Sir Steve Redgrave. Welcome, Steve. Very good to have you here.
Thank you,
David. Which of the two qualities or whatever are most important? Inspiration, which is the title of this book, or obsession, which you refer to often?
I think you've got to have all those factors. Of the titles of each chapter that we go through, you very much sort of everyone wants a sort of a quick fix, one element that is going to give them greatness or achieve whatever they set out, and it's not as simple as that. There's many different factors, but obsession is certainly one of them that you have to be able to take things to its limits, take things to greater goals.
And in fact, obsession is what you have to have also, presumably. You're describing your training schedule. I mean, that was a real grind, wasn't it?
Yes, when you talk about it and write it down on paper, it sounds pretty crazy of doing 2 to 4 training sessions a day, training each session for about an hour and 45 minutes each training session, pushing yourself to your heart rate somewhere between 120 to 140 beats per minute for that first bit, and that's the easiest of all the sessions that you do, and then you're sort of pushing your heart rate up to 200 beats per minute of maximum. And so when you talk at it from that point of view,
how many beats a minute would we have now?
Mine is probably around 50.
50 now.
When I was a fit athlete, that I'd be down to around 40. There are some athletes, endurance-based athletes, that heart rates go below than that in resting formats.
Do you think there are a number of people who, if they'd had the drive or the ambition or the obsession, could have been as good as the winners of Olympic Games now? I mean, is the leap there, that willpower leap? Are there people who say he could have been a gold medalist if only he had ...
There's certainly loads of people walking around our streets that are capable of being world's best in sports or in business and industry that don't get the breaks. I was lucky enough that at the small comprehensive school that I went to, a guy called Francis Smith, who was the head of the English department, picked me out to ask me if I wanted to row. And all that meant to me was going out on the river during school time. So that seemed to be a sensible thing to do, not a hardship at all. So yeah, no, our streets are full of people that can achieve great things, but they don't get the breaks or discover the elements that they could be really good at. That's not saying that everyone can be an Olympic gold medalist, but certainly there are a lot of people out there that are capable of being the world's best. That just doesn't happen for them for one reason or the other.
And what about the joy of winning, which is what I guess what it's all about? Was, for instance, your first gold medal more exciting than your 5th, or was the 5th, which was so unique, more exciting? I mean, is it first occasion you do things or not?
I think if you had to pull out one games or one medal out of the 5, it'll be the first, because you have this dream to become Olympic champion, and the first is that becoming reality. If you're fortunate enough to be young enough and fit enough to be able to go to more games, is that you've done it before. If you can put all the elements into place, you've got a good chance of doing it again. So you actually know you can do it because you have done it before. So it's sort of that first one of this dream becoming reality that's a sort of the special bit about it. And I can remember literally we raced at 8 o'clock in the morning. We were back in the village by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was walking around thinking, yes, I'm an Olympic champion. And then, because you've been focused on this one day for such a long period of time, and hadn't really given much thought what's going to happen afterwards, your thoughts are, well, so what? Big deal. No, I'm an Olympic champion. And there's sort of highs and lows. It's a strange experience in some ways.
And as you looked at these other people, and you've got Muhammad Ali in there, Kathy Freeman, Lance Armstrong, Tiger Woods, and so on, are there similarities much greater than their differences?
No, definitely. I think that of all the people you've got in the book, and there was 9 different chapters, you could almost put every person into every chapter through obsession, self-belief, perseverance, overcoming adversity, and things like that. Is that everyone has their issues in each one, but I tried to pick out what they will sort of stand out for. So Muhammad Ali was in self-belief. You're not going to get anybody more sort of self-belief apart from Brian Clough, who also features in the same chapter. Of something, I think anybody that achieves anything in any walk of life have to have that self-belief that they can achieve what they want to do. But very few people actually come out and tell people what they can do. They might believe it up here in the backs of their minds, but they won't have the forthnightness to actually come out and actually say, no, in a certain round I'm going to knock you out in this round, and tell the world, and sort of build up the sort of the bigger belief in some ways.
And you mentioned the word adversity there. I mean, I suppose the adversity which you faced more than any other was the diabetes. How much? When did you discover that you had diabetes? At what stage? Before the first, or
before the 5th? So 3 years before the 5th, 97. I was diagnosed with diabetes. I had a grandfather that had diabetes in his late 60s. And so there was sort of family trait of it of running back, but I never thought I would come down with it, and I certainly never thought I'd come down with it at the age of 35. So that was a big shock, and I did think my rowing career was over. Fortunately, where I live and still live in Marlow in Buckinghamshire, I was sent up to Wycombe General Hospital, and a guy called Ian Gallen, who was the diabetic specialist. I went off to see him, and it was confirmed that I had diabetes. I was taught how to take insulin, and I'm waiting for the moment he's going to say, okay, your life is going to change now. And at the end of the consultation, he said, I don't see any reasons why you can't achieve your dreams in Sydney in 3 years' time. And I thought, well, that wasn't what I was expecting to hear. And if he believes I can do it, I'll give it my best shot. He said it would be difficult, and it was very, very difficult.
Well, it's a joy to have you with us. Good luck with the book, Inspired, and congratulations on everything.
Thank you, David.
I'll say it 5 times. Congratulations. Anyway, terrific. There he is, Steve Redgrave. Is it right that the 9/11 plotters are facing civilian trials in New York? There's a lot of different opinions on it in the States as well as around the world, and we'll discuss it all after this short break.